Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on NTA News Nationwide. I am Laure Bala Hassan. President Goodluck Jonathan has assured the nation that the death of 2 officers and 13 soldiers killed by Boko Haram insurgents alongside one another lost to United Nations mission in Darfur will never be in vain. Representing President Goodluck Jonathan at the burial of the soldiers at the National Military Cemetery, Abuja, Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo said the war on the insurgency is winning. State House correspondent Hamza Musa Makarfi is putting together the report, and we will bring it to you in our subsequent bulletins. More people have visited the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, to condole her over the death of her mother, Mama Charity Fineface Iwarioba, known as Mama Sisi. State House correspondent Makut Simon Macham reports that the PDP Governors Forum also called in to condole her.
Among those who called in to condole with the First Lady were Senate President David Mark, governors of Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Katsina, Enugu, Delta, Kogi, Anambra, Benue, and Abia states. Some deputy governors were also present. Chairman, PDP Board of Trustees, Chief Tony Aneni, some ministers, presidential aides, and close family associates were also present. Wife of Bayelsa State Governor Rachel Dixon and President Jonathan's mother, Mama Eunice, were also present to comfort the First Lady. Chairman, PDP Governors Forum, Akwa Ibom State Governor Goodluck Jonathan, speaking on behalf of his colleagues, said they were deeply saddened by the loss of a mother who brought up the First Lady and trained her through life. He asked her to take solace in the fact that the deceased lived a fulfilled life that touched many.
I just want to tell you to take heart that God gives and God takes. It's an unfortunate thing, but you must be consoled by the fact that your mother lived to see you grow up to be an adult, and not just a pride to her and the immediate family, but a pride to the whole of Riverset, Bayelsa, that we are married into, and a pride to our nation.
Dame Patience Jonathan thanked them for the visit and described her late mother as an exemplary woman who worked hard to make life better for others.
She's the one that trained me in school and brought me to what I am today. Well, we can't waste on God. God knows the best. And for today, we thank God for what He has done. Once more, I thank all of you for coming. Appreciate you.
The First Lady also thanked all Nigerians for their show of love and compassion expressed in different forms since the news of the sad event broke. From the Presidential Villa, Abuja, I am Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has enjoined all the warring factions in the River State crisis to sheath their swords and take to the path of peace for democracy to continue to thrive in the state. The chairman of the forum, Governor Goodluck Jonathan, gave the advice at the end of their emergency meeting in Abuja. Political correspondent Femi Johnson reports that the meeting lasted for 3 hours.
The emergency meeting attracted 8 governors and 4 deputy governors. The chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Goodluck Jonathan, explained that the other governors had gone for holy pilgrimage. Notwithstanding, he says the spate of events in Rivers State calls for concern.
The forum was of the view that that incident, as we watched it, was quite unfortunate, and we advised that all the warring factions in the Rivers State House of Assembly should sheathe their swords in the interest of peace and good governance, so that that state can have peace and so that democracy can continue to flourish.
PDP Governors Forum, he noted, will mobilize delegates for the Southwest Zonal Congress and also the Special National Convention of the party.
So the forum discussed the 2 issues and decided to not just support the national headquarters headed by Dr. Bamanga Tuko. We also said that we mobilize all our delegates in our various states to ensure that we have a hitch-free Congress in the Southwest and a hitch-free national convention in Abuja.
The forum also stated that its meeting will now be rotated to enable members share peer reviews and also interact with those at the grassroots. The forum commiserates with the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, on the death of her mother. Bayelsa State is to host the August meeting of the forum, while Katsina State has been penciled down for the September edition. In Abuja, Femi Johnson, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has concluded voting on the proposed amendment to the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A major amendment approved by the majority of the lawmakers is the granting of autonomy to local governments in the country. Dende Falashe reports.
Clerk of the House, with some assistance from Speaker Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, announced the much-anticipated results of how the lawmakers voted regarding the 87 clauses. Top on the agenda was the issue of granting local governments autonomy.
Clause 1, the ayes 293. The nays 39 and 7 abstained. Clause 1 is about local government autonomy.
Other clauses supported include removal of immunity for the president, allowing independent candidates to aspire to any office in the land, as well as the removal of the word force from the Nigeria Police Force. Winding up the long day, Speaker Aminu Waziri Tambuwal thanked all Nigerians for being part of the ongoing process to improve the Constitution. He commended the other committee on the Constitution Review for a job well done and applauded the House for achieving the mandatory 2/3 of votes required for all the 87 clauses.
I would also like to commend each and every member of this House for participating in this process. And I'm sure this is what we owe to our constituents and indeed the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I would like to plead with the members of the public, especially those who have made representation on certain issues that have not been taken. The exercise will continue when we resume from recess.
Dende Falashe, NTA News.
The Acting Director General of the Nigeria Television Authority says proper and sustained monitoring activities in the building industry is critical in stemming the growing cases of collapsed building in Nigeria. He stated this while receiving members of the National Council of the Nigerian Institute of Building, led by the National President, Chuks Amife. Correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The visit to NTA is preparatory to the 43rd National Conference and Annual General Meeting of the Institute, scheduled for the 26th to 30th of August. The Nigerian Institute of Building is seeking collaboration with the NTA in view of its wide reach to highlight the dangers of patronizing quacks and using substandard building materials for construction purposes.
You regulate building in this country. I know of some other countries where even the block industry is being heavily regulated by government. But in this country, everybody is setting up in any space available. I don't know whether there are checks and balances from your institute. This needs to be taken up seriously.
Other issues are featured include how to attain the house for all dream of most Nigerians.
The reason major challenge we have why buildings are collapsing is because the process of construction is not regulated. No professional is involved, mandatorily involved to manage those processes. That is why buildings are collapsing. We are hoping that in the near future, if National Building Code eventually becomes effective, if it is captured and it is implemented, I'm sure that the building collapse issue will be a thing of the past.
Experts say with proper regulation of the industry, the issue of collapsed building will be checkmated. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Lagos is our first port of call, where Ademola is standing by to give us update on collapsed building and other stories. Hello, Demola. It's good to see you.
See you too, Laura. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. Non-compliance with the building codes has been identified as a major factor responsible for buildings collapse in Lagos State. This was stated by the General Manager of the Lagos State Building Control Agency during an inspection of collapsed buildings in the state. Adaobi Obeichina tells us more.
This is the second building collapse within 2 weeks in Lagos State. In this incident, 4 people were feared dead, while 3 were injured like the last building collapse in Lagos State. This was also mass demolition, still during construction by the government. The general manager, Lagos State Building Project, Dr. Bimbola Oduayo-Animashian, said the building collapsed as a result of inferior material used in the construction.
Watching it, just pretty just like that. And I'm even looking at the seal that they use, the reinforcement. The reinforcement that they have used is very, very minimum. The spacing from here to here is too much. So the spacing must be minimum as well, according to the calculation of the engineer. But they don't respect any specification. They don't respect all the structural calculation that the engineer has done.
Some eyewitnesses also spoke on what led to the collapse.
This part of the building fell. So the second part of it, where the house man they stayed at this other part, they were at the second side of the building. When as the first side fell, they were trying to go down to the other side. So the man on the other side, people there at the back, then fell.
And whereby such a building is being disapproved, I think maybe the Lagos State government should make sure that they ensure restriction of movement towards such a building, so that it won't eventually lead to such a calamity and disastrous in such a manner.
Residents of Lagos State were advised to guard against illegal structure and adhere to the rules of building in the state.
The Lagos State Police Command has paraded a man suspected to be a member of a kidnapped gang that kidnapped a Briton recently in the state. Iyabo Walieri reports that the State Police Command again urged residents of the state to always carry the police along in cases of kidnap in the state, as well as other security breaches.
Briefing newsmen on the incident, the State Commissioner of Police, Mal Manko, said the suspect, Chukwuemeka Benson, aged 27, was arrested along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway by a team of the State Intelligence Bureau and Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. The arrest, according to him, took place while he was trying to collect 7.5 million naira ransom from relatives of their victim. Mr. Manko said the victim, Dixon Lee, was kidnapped on his way from the international airport. On other members of the kidnapped gang who are at large, the police boss gave an assurance will be arrested. He again called on residents of the state to always cooperate with the police, especially in kidnap cases, rather than paying ransoms, as his men are on top of security situations in the state. The suspect, Chukwuemeka Benson, confessed to the crime. In Lagos, Iyabo Walieri, NTA News.
The Semi-Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has recorded more than 500 seizures with an estimated value of 290.45 million naira as duty within the second quarter of the year 2013. Customs Area Controller Semi-Area Command Uthman Saleh disclosed this to newsmen in Lagos. The report.
The 2013 summary report of the activities of the Command Controller Uthman Saleh said indicates that despite the environmental challenges as a result of the terrain, the command seized large consignment of vegetable oil, second-hand clothing, vehicles and frozen poultry products. Mr. Uthman Saleh said the concerted efforts and the determination by the command in the fight against smuggling resulted in the collection of 557 seizures. He said the command is committed to ensure that revenues accrued government are effectively collected, while other means of revenue evasion is eliminated.
We collected more than we collected last year. If you compare 2012 and 2013, what we collected is more than that of last year by 1.33%.
Comptroller Saleh also pointed out that the command is partnering with service providers with a view to educating business communities on customs prohibited goods, assuring Nigerian businessmen of customs legitimate importation protection.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Larry, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Demola. In the continued effort to ensure a well-structured legal practice, the Nigerian Bar Association has instituted a regulatory committee which will check quacks in the profession. President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Okewali, who inaugurated the committee, promised to put an end to the influx of fakes in the profession. Femi Okeowo reports.
Stamp and Seal Policy Committee, the body which is headed by Hassan Liman SAN, an Abuja-based legal practitioner, is expected to streamline the authority of practice by lawyers in the country. NBA President Okewali said this has become necessary in view of the provisions of the rules of professional conduct for legal practitioners.
A lawyer acting in his or her capacity as a legal practitioner, legal officer, or advisor of any governmental department or ministry or any corporation shall not sign or file a legal document unless there is affixed on any such document a seal and a...
The policy of using stamp and seal by lawyers has long been a part of the profession, but was put on hold to allow the association properly identify its members. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to utilize the Freedom of Information Act to challenge the practice of impunity, making use of the channels of redress provided by the law. This is the view of stakeholders at the Stop Impunity in Nigeria workshop organized by civil societies in Abuja. Correspondent Aliu Tukur filed the reports.
Issues surrounding the implementation of the rule of law, causes and challenges of impunity, and effective strategies for ending the practice in the country. To overcome the challenge of impunity, stakeholders are of the opinion that rule of law should be enforced, especially in contrast to the idea that ruler is above the law.
One of the cardinal principles of the rule of law is the equality of every person before the law.
It is important for us as individuals to first recognize that impunity will destroy the very fabric of our country.
For instance, if the Bar Association, if the members of the bar can agree to do certain things in terms of reforming how cases are done in court, it will go a long way in ensuring that impunity is reduced in that sector. So we are going to attach key stakeholders to every recommendation we are going to make.
The workshop is expected to develop a follow-up plan of action for legal professionals, anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies, relevant ministries, departments and agencies for implementation in order to rid the country of corruption and impunity.
National Chairman of PDP, Dr. Bamanga Tukur, has inaugurated a 30-member reconciliation committee headed by Bayelsa State Governor Siriake Dixon. Alhaji Bamanga Tukur charged the committee to work out how PDP will reclaim states in Southwest, Imo, Anambra, Yobe, Zamfara and Nasarawa states in future elections. Political correspondent Femi Johnson has details.
Inaugurating the committee, the PDP national chairman says it is very necessary for harmonious relationship so that the party can carry out its mandate successfully. While acknowledging that there are conflicts to be resolved, Alhaji Bamanga noted that the leadership is determined more than before to reclaim leadership in other states not controlled by the PDP.
Carefully evaluate the training in the National Assembly vis-a-vis the party present progress. All members from there who went out as members of the PDP before and now are in different parties. Bring them back.
The chairman of the PDP Reconciliation Committee, Governor Siriake Dixon, he said a large party like PDP cannot be devoid of conflicts, but the party must evolve ways of resolving them without stifling people. The committee, he noted, will not disappoint. Governor Dixon also acknowledged the ongoing reconciliation efforts by the BOT chairman, Chief Tony Anini, and also Dr. Alex Ekweme, as well as PDP governors at their own level.
You can only have too little reconciliation. There's no harm in having too much reconciliation. The more the reconciliation, better for our party, and ultimately better for our nation.
And this committee is a committee to bring peace and harmony in the party.
The committee has been mandated to co-opt any PDP member that may be considered useful or important in the course of their assignment. From the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja, Femi Johnson, NTA News.
President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Pastor Ayo Orushejafo, has declared the last Friday of every month a national day of prayer and fasting. Pastor Olusegun enjoined Nigerians to use Friday, 26th July, to pray for peace and unity of the country. Plateau State Government organizes Peace Parley for Plateau Southern Senatorial Zone as Ministry of Health and National Population Commission Plateau State signs Memorandum of Understanding. This and more as we link up with Miriam in Jos. Hello Miriam, it's good to see you.
Welcome to Jos. Authorities in Plateau State are intensifying efforts towards attaining sustainable peace in the southern senatorial zone of the state. Eric Dungs reports on the efforts by both the civil authorities and security agencies.
Members of the Peace Committee, recently constituted by the Plateau State Government to look into the crises in the Plateau Southern Zone, as well as the Special Task Force on Security, STF, have all been busy parleying with stakeholders in the affected areas with the aim of finding workable and peaceful solutions for the crisis-prone area. Members of the Peace and Reconciliatory Committee, headed by the Deputy Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Mr. John Bush Shekaro, were in Lantan South and Mikang local government areas. Chairman of the committee, Deputy Speaker John Bush Shekaro, said the parley is not aimed at apportioning blames on anybody, but to deliberate on how best the problem can be addressed. The Plateau State Commissioner for Water Resources and Rural Development, Malam Idi Waziri, said it is sad that the crises have persisted, even with efforts by government to put an end to it. Some residents of Lantan South who spoke at the event said they are willing to embrace peace, but urged government to ensure that those behind the crisis be dealt with. They also called on security operatives to perform their duties with utmost sense of responsibility to bring lasting peace in the area. Another parley was convened by the commander of the Special Task Force, Major General Henry Ayola, with youths in Shandam local government area. Mindful of the central role youths play in crisis situations, these youths were drawn from 6 local governments making up the Plateau Southern Senatorial Zone, including those of Kanam local government area in the central zone. The mission was to speak frankly and proffer solutions for a roadmap to peaceful resolution of contentious issues. Security chiefs in the state as well as stakeholders identified unguarded and unregulated activities, destruction of farmlands and cattle rustling, among others, as causes of the unrest in the area. They were, however, quick to point out that no tribe can be tied to a particular crime, as crime and criminality cuts across tribal lines. The STF commander used the opportunity to announce the conviction of 3 cow rustling kingpins for a period of 3 years each by the Federal High Court, Jos. Eric Dungs, NTA News.
Farmers in Plateau State have been advised to form cooperative groups and register with the 3rd National Fadama Development Project to enable them have access to programs of the scheme. National Project Coordinator of Fadama 3, Mr. Taiwo Adewumi, gave the advice when he led a technical team on a 2-day assessment visit to the state. Ben Mitu completes the report.
Addressing members of Fadama Community Association at Dabwak Kuru, Mr. Adewumi commended their team spirit, cooperation and unity for building a mini market which has 7 shops. After commissioning the project, the national coordinator urged the people to protect and put the facility into proper use.
We won't want to pass through here, or any of our colleagues or any of the visitors pass through and see the shops locked. Let it be operational.
State Project Coordinator Chief Gideon Dandam said Fadama 3 will not relent in its strive to change the status of farmers positively.
We believe in adding value to what our farmers are doing. That's why we're here today to showcase this market where they will see the relevance of building a standard market.
Representative of the Jos South Local Government Chairman, Chairman of the Fadama Community Association, and the Gomre Kuru all applauded the scheme and pledged to give their support. The team also visited the State Commissioner for Agriculture, where the National Coordinator announced plans to link Irish potato farmers directly with the international market. The Commissioner, Mr. Stephen Barku, said agriculture remains the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. As such, the state government has keyed into transformation agenda of the federal government in the sector.
We are one of the first states to sign an agreement between the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Plateau State on the reform of agriculture in Nigeria.
The team defied heavy downpour to inspect a piggery, processing machine and a poultry farm, all in Rabindu. In Jos, Ben Mitu, NTA News.
To ensure effective planning for national growth and development, the statistics of a country's population is set to play a vital role in this. The Plateau State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Fom Dakwak, explained this at the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry and the Plateau State Office of the National Population Commission. Correspondent Blessing of Fulani reports.
Understanding is aimed at ascertaining and standardizing the statistics of births, deaths, and stillbirths in the state for the purpose of planning. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Fom Dakwak, who assured the NPC of the ministry's cooperation, said all health centers in the state, including private health facilities, will be incorporated in the exercise.
Quite a number of our children are born in hospitals and in clinics, and we have to, as a matter of necessity, register them, because any country that doesn't have statistics will find it very difficult to plan.
Plateau State Director